About 2 weeks ago, I landed in Shanghai, and I came from New York. I was there for over 10 years. I was born and raised in the Bay Area. And yeah, you can give it up for the Bay Area. I know we all have connections there. Realizing the world is getting smaller and smaller, right? People have connections here, the Bay Area, Hillsborough, California, right? There's a small but very powerful vein that is pushing energy through all these places. So, let's see. How would I describe myself? I'm a musician. I'm an experimentalist. I am a daredevil. I am a challenge and a risk taker. And, I am my mother's son. Happy Mother's Day tomorrow, Mom. That's us back in high school with my brother. This is me in Hawaii, hanging out after I had taken a swimming challenge. I wanted to figure out what would happen to me if I swam every day for 30 days in the ocean. I went out there after I dissolved one of my first companies to face my fears, everything as basic as walking barefoot in the grass to swimming outwards 6 miles into the ocean. And at the end of it, I entered and I finished in a military-grade swim race. And then we did some photos afterwards, had some fun. We swam with this cello to an offshore island and made the rest happen. There's my mom again in Japan hanging out. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's me, like I said, daredevil, love the motorcycles, love challenges. While I was training, this is Chinaman's hat, those of you that know Oahu. So I was sort of living island style, you can see, getting a little different there. But one of the challenges I started doing is trying to swim to other islands while I was on Hawaii, because there's only so much you can do on a small island. So there's me on Oahu looking at Chinaman's hat. Then there's me at that little arrow, right? I had swam there and climbed the mountain and made it to the top. Pretty awesome. Then I saw people there. Oh yeah, you can clap for that. That's fine. I saw people there and they're like, "Hey, how did you get here?" And I was like, "I swam here." And like, "With whom?" And I said, "Well, by myself." And they're like, "Well, you're supposed to come here with a boat, or if you're gonna swim, you should have like gear. Like, you came by yourself? Like, that's impossible." I was like, "Well, I'm here." Right? So the idea is that anything is possible. This is me hanging off the side of a cathedral in Mexico. I did a physical challenge, another one, where I wanted to play music suspended from the sky. And one of the things I want to do when I stay here for the long term is look at all the beautiful skyscrapers here and play music from those as well. I had some dancers with me. This is in Mexico. There's another aerial shot. This is City Hall, Los Angeles. Hollywood Hills in the background. You can see playing the trombone there, hanging out. This is the view before I jump off of the side of the building and rappel down playing the trombone. This is, we were invited by the mayor of Los Angeles. This is the crowd assembling. We had about 50,000 people per night, and we played there for, I think, about a week. This is the view before the show starts, and I jump out the window. Like I said, I'm an experimentalist. I am working with different technology companies to see new ways to interface music with technology. This is my friend Tan Lei in California, who developed a brain scanner. So it's meant to be able to control radio-controlled cars, or control drones, or control computers, right? So I said, hey, what would happen if we reverse engineered it, and instead of just controlled computers, we could control DJ equipment. So this is me last summer at the World Economic Forum, the Young Global Leaders Summit in Geneva, where we actually hacked into that thing, and we got it to control all this DJ software, and we had a blast. There's about 1,000 of the world leaders and leaders in different industries hanging out. This is a picture of my brain, very active during the performance and controlling the mission control. Here's another group of our friends here. This instrument that you see over here is called a silent cello. I worked with Yamaha to design the latest iteration. It was designed for people like me who live in, and you, who live in cities in close quarters, so you could play in headphones, right, instead of, so you could practice, right, in privacy. And your neighbors wouldn't hear you either. Yeah, that's right. So that was at a trade show with Yamaha. So this is me as a kid in France. From an early age, my mother actually trained me to play music, and she used to be on television in Japan. And when I said that I wanted to have allowance like all the other kids, she was like, actually, you know what you can have? You can have a job. So when I got a job, I was about 10 years old. I think that was me. They say that, necessity is the mother of invention. So for me, I was sick of being made fun of at school for having clothes that were given to me by my neighbors, because I was basically wearing old shoes and old clothes, and I said, you know what, I gotta remedy this situation. So my mom said, you can get a job. So you can see I sort of went overboard in terms of like coordination there. The yellow, the red, the white, right? I got really into it. And so I'd like to think that like nothing in my life has happened by accident. This was when I was 10. That's a couple years earlier when I became most stylish New Yorker in the New York Magazine, right? So the seeds that you plant become who you are over and over and over again. So with that being said, all that is great, but what I've realized is that one of the most important things is how we nourish ourselves. And I think that plays a key point in balance and why we're all here today. So I think that there's three main sustenances in the world and how we get them. Basically, one is spirituality. And I'm not talking about what church you go to, what temple you go to, what book you read, because I think it all comes from the same place. And so that may stir some sort of conversation later, but I'm happy to have that. So spirituality for me has a broad definition, and it's really about finding balance, it's about finding grounding, and it's about not being that guy that has to push the grandma down the stairs to be the first one on the subway. Although yesterday, I swear to God, that Chinese grandma pushed me down the stairs in order to get on the subway. I'm not kidding. China, they do things different. But that's all right. It's about balance, right? So what I want to do for you guys now is play this guy here. This is a beautiful 216-year-old cello that was loaned to me by Mr. Christian Zenz. And it is from the Galliano family, and if it breaks, then hopefully TEDx has insurance. Because this is not mine. But it's beautiful. It's like driving an old car. It has a lot of character, has like a robust sound to it, and it's a little rough around the edges. You have to like drive it and really kind of finesse this thing. But when it's working, it has a character and a sound like no other. I feel almost a little guilty though, because I have a beautiful French cello that I've had since I was a kid, and it's sitting right now in my recording studio in New York. And while I'm here in Shanghai playing this cello, I kind of feel like I'm almost cheating on my other cello. But nobody has to know. Only the 100,000 people that are streaming this and you guys here today. But let's play some music. Like I said, sustenance is so very important. I think one of the initiatives that I started is called Tectonic, and it brings together groups of musicians who have all been affected by climate change and natural disasters, and it gives them an opportunity and a platform to collaborate in support of human rights. And one of our highlights this year is that we assembled 300 donors with Save the Children, and we raised over $7 million to give to the children of Nepal. So I want to continue this effort, and I hope that you guys will stay in touch and will find ways to continue to creatively use music as the powerful catalyst that it deserves to be. So this is one of the songs that I wrote for Tectonic, and it's entitled Salutation. There are many ways of capturing the spiritual energy and the potency of music, and I've been researching them all, meeting with everybody from brain scientists to spiritual leaders from around the world, and I'd like to share this with you. I'd like to say that this is a musical prayer, and it's the best way to start the day. Thank you. So, another pillar that I live by is the concept of being able to equalize, right? So, like I said, 2 weeks ago, I got called because our good friend Richard Shu. Can we give a huge round of applause to Richard for organizing this? Yeah, Richard. Thank you. This is quite incredible. It's such an honor to be here. So, in classic Richard fashion, cool as a cucumber, he calls me last night at 1 a.m. and says, Dana, I know you're supposed to be at the Shanghai Tower in a few hours, and I know that you're supposed to collaborate with different presenters today, but it turns out that one of our presenters has missed his flight. So I would like for you to step into the place and give the first talk. How does that sound? Does that sound good? Good. I'm glad it sounds good. I'm like, yeah, let me check my schedule. Yeah, I'm free. So here we are, right? Being able to equalize, right? The moments of pure intensity, of raw, visceral emotion, and the moments of absolutely staggering defeat, finding ways to equalize. That is what balance is, right? I can tell you a story. Last year, January 12th, I went to the gym in the morning, like I normally do. I rode my bike there. On the way back, I was riding down this hill. It was snowing. And a blue van, company will remain nameless. Blue van, yellow letters. Drives to the airport. Pulls out of a spot parallel in New York and sideswipes me while I'm on my bike. And I'm effectively hit by a car. January 12th, 7:30 in the morning. And like a classic New Yorker, like a good New Yorker, gave him some profanity, and I biked on, no problem, right? Went home, and I got in my house, and I said, you know what? I've just been hit by a car. That's interesting, and I'm totally fine. So the phone rings. The first phone call is the team of Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum. They said, Dana, we have good news. You've already spoken at the forum. You've brought some interesting things to the group. We want to nominate you into a group called the Young Global Leaders Community. It's 1,000 of the top leaders of all the different industries, and we'd like you to represent a spot that has been held by people like Pharrell Williams, like John Legend, and like Michael Jackson, and now you. And I'm like, okay, cool, what's that? He's like, get online and find out. I was like, okay, so I did that. And I hung up. And at that point, I said to myself, this is so very good. This is great. This is going to be wonderful. Right? And I said it just like that, like totally equal. Right? Phone rings again, and it's the team of Mr. Harry Belafonte. And he's on the line with some popular artists that we know. And they said, we're making an album to fight gun violence in the States and bring awareness and support the victims of the families that have been hurt by violence, and we want you to join the writing team. Is that cool? And I was like, yeah, let me check my schedule. Yeah, I'm free. And then I hang up, and I said the exact same thing, right? I said, this is going to be so very good. This is excellent, right? If that had been 10 years before, I would have been out in the streets with the champagne bottle like, I am the greatest, and you are the worst, right? But I think a lot of things have changed, like I said. Through the learning experiences, through the defeats we go through, we learn to equalize. We learn to take the good and the bad at the same time. I was hit by a car. I was nominated into these groups. I was hired to an all-star writing team. And then during that last call, I got a text message from one of my partners, or my partner at the time. I believe in monogamy, even though I'm a musician. Right? I break stereotypes. I'm a thrill seeker and a risk taker. So it was my partner, and she said, you know, we've been going through a lot of journeys together and a lot of challenges, and I don't think I can be the partner that we thought I could be. And, you know, while I was reading this long text message, I said to myself, wow, by the time I finish this, I will probably be completely crushed. But actually, as I read on further and further, I was actually liberated, further than I've ever felt. And I've carried that with me, that sense of liberation and freedom. And it's miraculous, but I think it's about repetition. It's about practice, right? I gave probably the shortest graduation speech at the Centro Cultural in Mexico. I said that You must do what you love. You are what you eat. And know that in order to do what you love, there will be a sacrifice. Thank you very much. Right?